Hey guys, Lizardlea here for day 30 of 4 Heavenly Beasts. There is the progress from day 29. Oh, yeah, you can see that I don't stop it, or stop, yeah. I don't stop my threads and then restart them later. Like, you can just see that I just jump. Why did I think stop was the wrong word? I mean, that's what the back looks like for anyone that's curious. My voice sounds weird. I haven't talked at all this morning. It's 6:35 and David still sleeps, so it's really dark in here. Okay, so I feel like you guys don't ever get this because I always have my lamp on and it's got, well, currently it only has 3 lights because 2 of them, the bulbs died, but normally it has 5. So if I turn it off, it's dark right now. It's so dark. Oh, you can see my dragons right here. Anyways, I mean, you can always see my dragons. They're always over here. But yeah, it's really dark. So I need to plan out what color I want to start with and then wait for the sun to come up. I talk too much.
Alright, so we're going to be talking about Final Space, which was a show where I watched the first season, and surprise, surprise, my favorite character is dead. That's all. No, that's it.
That's it. That's all
it.
you want to say?
Yep.
Nothing else?
No.
We're done.
My favorite
Move
character
on
is
to the
dead.
next one.
Like, that's all I have to say about it. I mean, like, honestly. Let's see. Gary is the main character. I don't like him. Quinn is his love interest. I don't really like her, but I guess I like her a little more than Gary. Hugh, the spaceship AI, I really like him. I don't know if he really counts as being his own person, but I like him. He seems like he has a personality. Kevin, one of the robots on the ship, definitely has his own personality and is a person. I like him. Gary does not, and like nobody else does either, and they all treat him horribly. And I think that just makes me like Kevin more. Avocado. He's a cat. His name is Avocado. It's really adorable. He's got guns and stuff. He has a son named Little Cotto. It's the cutest thing in the world. Who am I forgetting? Mooncake, the little green alien, is the cutest thing ever. What does he say? Like, chockity-poo!
Chokity-paw.
Chockity-poo! 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 I kind of got it. I don't know. I feel like my Peach is probably better. Mario! Yeah?
Nailed it. Well done.
The green alien sidekick to Quinn is one of the worst characters I've ever seen on the TV before.
Tribor.
I freaking hate him. I will never remember his name because I hate him so much. If he dies, I will be so happy.
He won't.
So you all know he's not dead. He's not my favorite character. The Lord Commander is fun. He is apparently voiced by David Tennant. Can't tell, though. Doesn't sound like David Tennant, which is just amazing. You know, if I cannot tell who is speaking, you're doing a dang good job. Granted, half of his lines have, like, major auto-tune on them, but
yeah,
still really cool. I mean, he's a good actor, so...
He is, yes.
Am I missing anybody?
Just to call out, like, the other major talent on the show for voice actors, they have Conan O'Brien, who does a character who's going to become more important in the next season, which you may or may not like.
Oh, wait, I thought he voiced Gary.
No, he voices the shopkeeper who sold Gary the skin.
Oh!
Yes. You'd never
Okay,
know.
side character. Okay. Yeah, no, he... Well, you know, once you pointed it out, I could tell that it was him. But before that, I would not have guessed it.
Keith David voices Bolo, the Titan, who talked to them once or twice. Keith David, you know who he is.
David, yeah.
And Ron Perlman voices Gary's dad.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think Gary will slowly grow on you as a person.
Will he? Because currently I just want him to die.
He's being better. as a human.
I still want him to die.
He is an annoying human, but he's
There
a
you
better
go.
human.
That's what he is. I'm an annoying human, so I can spot another annoying human. Okay.
A large distance.
And then Quinn was just frustrating. Like
Quinn is Quinn.
I like avocado, okay, and I like little cotto, and I like mooncake. That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
So, as a synopsis, the point of the show.
I'm not. That's not my job. That's what you do. That's
I
what
know,
you're here
but
for.
I was waiting for you to finish ranting.
Well, I ranted for 5 minutes. So go.
By the clock. So the point of the show is you're introduced to Gary, who clearly lives in the future, and it's like a very kind of unique future. Like, they don't really go heavy into this world building or the science or anything, but they're just like, here's the tech, have fun. And I like that about the show. It does a pretty good job of like setting up a neat setting. And he's working on a ship, and at first he acts like he's the captain.
A spaceship,
Yes.
by the way.
I feel that's implied when we're talking about futuristic, but whatever. A spaceship, and doing all these menial tasks, and it becomes apparent very quickly that he is a prisoner on the ship. Not as in, like, someone runs the ship and he's a prisoner, but as in he is the only living human on the ship, and this is a punishment for something that he did, which was basically pretend to be somebody he wasn't, and as a result, blow up 99 ships and a small Mexican restaurant.
It was really bad.
Yes, with one bad move.
Yep.
So,
One.
he is...
And Quinn fell for it. That is another reason that
She's an idiot,
just wanted
yes.
to... See, but that's the thing. They tried to make it seem like she was not an idiot. But she did that. Like,
she is socially inept. Anyways, it's very... He is very ostentatious, or obnoxious, is a very fair term, and over the top and ridiculous, but at the same time, the show can be very, to steal a common term, wholesome. It's all very much about, like, yes, you do the right thing, and if you do, like... It feels kind of like a standard, like, fairy tale in a weird way, and that, like, yes, the villains are out there, the good guys fight the villains, and it's just very straightforward. There's not a whole lot of nuance or anything. Like, there's deeper plots, but again, they feel kind of like someone winging it to tell their kid before they go to sleep sort of stuff. And it's mostly just as an excuse to have more of the show, which does a pretty good job. I think it is definitely not my favorite show. And I don't love everything about it. I also hate Tribor with an unreasonable passion. Actually,
it's completely reasonable.
Yeah,
that is a horrible character.
He has his moments, but yes, he is incredibly frustrating. I was not a huge fan of Kevin, unlike you. But then again, that's the point of Kevin, because they make a joke about it, just about constantly how everyone hates Kevin and how Kevin is supposed to be horrible and whatnot.
See, and you know, when everybody is mean to someone, I just want to be their friend.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's also horrible to them.
Yeah, but there's like 5 of them, and there's only one of him. It's not fair.
Right.
Also, the fact that he's in love with a fridge named Beth, I just feel that in my soul. My name is Elizabeth, so I'm in the show. Not really happy about it, but I am.
Yes. So, yeah, it's very wacky. I've seen more seasons than Liz, so I can't...
I've only done season 1.
Yeah,
He's done all 3.
3 so far. I think there's a 4th coming, so... Yeah, there should be a 4th, so... I think it's worth a watch. Like, it's the sort of thing where, like, you're going to very... Like, to be fair, I was like, man, I'm going to tap out real fast on this, and I'm glad I stuck it out, because it got better. And if the world building hadn't been good from the start, I would have been like, I'm out, Gary's a moron. Gary grew on me. I still don't love him, but I don't hate him. And the other characters are interesting enough. It's not something I dedicated a whole lot of time to. Like, I was usually doing something else while I watched it or whatnot, just because it's that kind of show. But I think it's cool. Again, yeah, David Tennant does a voice. I really like the Lord Commander. I just like the very straightforward writing. Like, it's just an excuse to tell more jokes 9 times out of 10, and they're not always good jokes, but at least they're trying, and they're not overthinking the plot, which, given that I don't think they can really deliver on it, is fine. They still do crazy, wacky stuff and act like it's a big deal, but at the same time, it's like, wow, this completely contradicts like 8 things you said in season 1, but who cares, because you're not putting that much effort into it. You're just going to do whatever sets up the next big thing. So,
who's your favorite character?
I mean...
Is this because you like too many of them, or because you don't like one of them enough?
I'm kind of ambivalent about all of them. Like, Avocado's great, just because he's great. Because he's playing the straight man in he's a kid, and his arcs are interesting.
He's such a cute kid. Though.
Yes, he's very cute.
He's the cutest kid.
I like the Lord Commander, but he's not, like, deep. He's
the villain.
He's an incredibly standard villain, too. Like, for a brief moment, they're like, maybe we're going to get some backstory on why he's the villain, and the answer is, because he's the villain! Like, maybe we will eventually, but even where I'm at, I think it's never really given more than, like, nope, he just became evil one day, because the evil thing hit him with evil.
Yeah. And prior to that, he was a big freaking sweetheart.
There's two more characters who are of importance who will be introduced. Of them, I think you will love one of them. And
is it part cat?
No, he is
it
not.
Part alien?
He is all alien, yes.
All alien, okay, I'll accept it. I like Mooncake.
He is not that kind of alien.
Yeah, but he's still an alien.
Yeah, and he's also voiced by...
Technically, Avocado and Little Cado are
He's
aliens,
voiced by...
They're not humans.
Oh, where have you heard him?
Heck would I know.
King Shark from Harley.
King Shark
not that
is
one.
A shark.
Alright, I tried.
You could talk this whole time, you bleep bleep.
Bleep, 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 bleep. Yeah.
Well, bleep knuckle.
Yeah.
The other one's the curse word.
Well done, dude.
That movie was so good.
I'm trying to figure out. So Ron
King Shark.
Oh, is that what's his name?
Who?
Yeah, he's Elliot Mothman, but is that actually?
I don't recognize any of these.
Yeah, you really wouldn't.
What's his name?
That.
Ron Funches.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's him.
I would not know.
Has he been in something else? I swear I know him from something. I mean, I know him from a lot of things, but I feel like I know him from something that you would know him from, and I have failed. So you want to talk about Nocturnal Animals or Dune?
We haven't talked about Dune yet?
We haven't talked about Dune
Oh!
yet. Ah!
Oh, you know what?
That's why we didn't
Do
talk
we have
about
enough time for Dune?
We should probably do Nocturnal Animals.
Let's do Nocturnal Animals and save Dune for the next one. Because, spoiler alert, you guys, I really like Dune. So, Nocturnal Animals stars Amy Adams and all of her redheaded beauty in dark makeup, which looks super weird on her. And Jake Gyllenhaal in all of his attractiveness. Just always. Okay, you know what? My Prince of Persia heart beats for that man.
I'm just saying, I feel like if anyone is found out to have, like, a people freezer, it's going to be Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, no, he's an amazing actor. Like, he is
yes,
up there...
Yes, that's why it's going to be him.
No, he's up there for me with, like, Kathy Bates of just,
I agree.
Oh, yeah, you could be the biggest sweetheart that I would, like... If you gave me cookies, I would eat them. And then the next day, you'd play a new character, and I'd be like, oh my god, she just poisoned me, and I'm gonna die.
I would
completely believe it.
I think he's one of the best living actors.
Good actors they are.
Or, hell, I think he's one of the best actors ever, period.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, if he has a people freezer, I'm gonna be like, yeah.
No, don't do that to me.
Don't do that to you.
Okay. You know what? I'm saying it right now. He is one of my hall passes.
Well,
him and Ryan Gosling.
Well, to be fair, like, related to him, one of the first movies I saw with him was Nightcrawler.
Yeah, and that is a terrifying movie.
Yes. So anyways, on to Nocturnal Animals.
The first one I saw with him was October Sky.
Oh, no, actually I did see that. But
and then Donnie Darko. He's had range his whole life. I love him.
Anyways, the movie's about stuff that happens. No,
it's based on a book.
It's based on a book, and
Edward
and
Susan.
Yes, Susan is the wife of Edward, or well, the ex-wife of Edward. We do not really see much of Edward at the beginning. We see Susan living her life. She owns like an art gallery or something. She's high-class art.
I would just like to say, before you guys watch this movie, the first 2 minutes is a bunch of, no offense, but overweight naked ladies. So don't watch this with your kids if you're not prepared for that. And don't if you're interested in the movie, but you don't want to see that, you need to skip ahead like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, because her art gallery is one of those edgy, modernist art galleries, which shows a lot of overweight naked women.
Yeah, and like they're fully naked.
Yes.
It's not just partial. So
Yeah.
just be aware. I don't want anyone to be like, "Wow, you're promoting kind of movies, Liz." So yeah, apologies for not saying that sooner, but now you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain. I still have not seen that movie.
Nor have I.
I mean, I want to, but one day. All right, okay. Back to Nocturnal Animals.
So
and that was, I'd say that was the worst like part. I mean, like there are.
I mean, the material for the entire movie is not for children.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, like there's murder and other things, but I feel like that one was the worst visual.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the rest... I mean, there's a little bit of blood, but I don't feel like it's too much. But I could be remembering wrong. There's
violence
gore,
is minimal, but the content of the film.
Oh, yeah,
is
the
bad.
content is definitely...
Which we're going to get to. So,
Sorry,
as is standard on this happy, wonderful cross-stitch channel, here's another dark and horrifying... She recommended this one. I read it on the record.
Whoa. I did not recommend anything. I was scrolling through Facebook, and somebody's, like, TikTok video popped up, and it's not someone on my friends list. It was just a random thing, and they were just like, go to Netflix, pull up Nocturnal Animals, and duet with me your reaction to the first 2 minutes of the movie. And I was like, I was watching it, and I was just like, interesting. The person looks mildly offended. I guess I'm gonna go see what the first 2 minutes are. And I opened it up, and I saw Jake Gyllenhaal, and I saw Amy Adams, and I was like, oh my god, I love both of them. And I read the synopsis, and I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. So I hit play, and then I was like, oh, naked ladies. Oh, what? I didn't think this is what the movie was about. Am I in the wrong movie? So,
Anyways.
but seriously, like the synopsis, or like, excuse me, the summary, sounds really cool. Like that,
which is,
and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
If we can get there. No.
Yes.
So the point of the movie is she's living a very unhappy rich person life with her husband, who like almost immediately, like it's very clearly they're in a loveless, broken marriage.
Mm-hmm.
He's incredibly attractive. She's incredibly attractive. They're obviously vastly wealthy, but it's implied that their wealth is like possibly not going to last. Like they might be going broke, or it's unclear if they're like about to be out of the house that they live in, or if it's just they're going to be poor in comparison to the other rich people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that sort of thing. And either way, her husband is going out of town, and she gets a book from her ex-husband. It's a draft that's about to go to print, and he says, hey, I want you to read this first, and she hasn't heard from him in like 19 years.
19 years, yep.
I wanted you to read this before it went out because I always valued your opinion. I think I've finally written something good, something like that.
And yeah, it was like from the heart, and he wrote it for her.
Yes. And he dedicates the book to her, like, for Susan, and it's called Nocturnal Animals. And she starts reading it. So when she's reading the book, we see the characters that the story is about going through the story. And they are Jake Gyllenhaal playing a guy named Tony. Mm-hmm. Not Edward, the husband, who is also played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Have fun, folks.
I feel like you can usually spot exactly who you're seeing.
No, absolutely. It's going to be difficult to explain.
Yeah.
And
Tony and Edward
has a horrific encounter on a road at night in the middle of West Texas, in the middle of nowhere. He's driving along, and there's these lunatics on the road, and things escalate from there, and it gets really dark really fast.
Okay, but hold on. So, Amy Adams. I always confuse Amy Adams with where is she? With Isla Fisher. They are both some of the most beautiful redheads I've ever seen in my entire life, and I am madly in love with both of them, and they are both in this movie. Isla Fisher plays Tony's wife, so she is the wife in the book, and Amy Adams is Susan. She is the wife outside of the book, or the ex-wife now. And it blew my mind when they first showed Isla Fisher, because I was like, oh my god, David, that's who I was trying to tell you was in the movie, and it wasn't. But then it turns out she was. Sorry, that's all. You may continue. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I don't know if there's too much to say. Like that's the synopsis. I think it's a really good movie. I don't rate it 5 out of 5 just because I'm like, wow, that was sad.
I'm just gonna say I had it wasn't whiplash levels of anxiety, but on the book side of things, it was high anxiety for me.
Yeah.
I really wanted to beat the crap out of all 3 of them: the husband, the wife, and the daughter. Yes. I feel like they instigated a lot. They may not have meant to, but they did, and it just made me very angry.
Which, given things we know, makes more sense. But so yeah, the thing is that. So, there's a lot of movies I've seen that try to do allegories and whatnot, and I've rambled about it on here before, I think, but, Lighthouse and The Witch and whatnot, where I get annoyed because they try to have their cake and eat it too, oh, I'm going to be, allegorical and metaphoric, or, oh, maybe this actually really happened, or whatnot, and, I like this one because it very clearly knows what it was trying to do. It knows what the allegory is, you can pretty much map everything one-to-one, and it executes it incredibly well. There was a moment at the end where I'm like, wait, is that going to be it? Is that going to be it? And at first I was like, am I okay with that? And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, wow, that is actually incredibly well done. Everything makes sense. It all maps. It all flows. I've been mulling it over a little bit even today. Oh yeah, and that would be because of that, and that would be because of that. It's just really well done. If that is not your type of movie, this probably wasn't in your ballpark anyways, from what we've explained. But hey,
do we want to go full spoilers?
Yeah, we can. I don't think there's a way to talk about it without full spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full spoilers, blah blah blah. Spoiler warning. Also, disturbing content stuff. But yeah.
So the book story is the highway. They are trying to pass a car, and there are actually 2 cars ahead of them on the highway, and the Jake Gyllenhaal's character is driving, and he honks the horn to try to get the person in the left lane to just speed up and actually pass the person so that he can also pass the person. And eventually it happens, and they end up passing that guy as well. And he's kind of the other vehicle is kind of a jerk about it. They weave in and out of their lane a little. Mm-hmm. And the daughter in the back seat, when they officially get when Tony's family gets past them and ahead of them, the daughter turns around in the back seat and flips them off. And the wife sees it, and she was like, what was her name? Hildy? HAED?
No.
So, I swear it started with India? Was it India?
India might be it. I'm looking.
I don't know. But the mom is just like, girl, what are you doing? Stop that. And then the dad realizes it, and he's like, oh yeah, no, don't do that. And then the people in the other vehicle get really aggressive. Right. Oh, it was India. Mm-hmm. I'm amazing. I don't remember the mom's name, though. But, they get so aggressive that eventually Tony's car gets pushed off the road. And you realize it a little bit later, he's got a flat tire, and the guys all get out of their car, and they're just like, oh, hey, we could help you, blah, blah, blah. But, they're being really skeevy and gross about it. And they're just like, why'd you push me off the road? And then the wife was like, we didn't push you off the road. You pushed us off the road. And he's like, oh, you called me a liar? It was just the whole time I was like, Jake Gyllenhaal's character is being super passive, and it's just oh, yeah, sorry. And honestly, I feel like as long as all of them had been on that same page, it could have come out okay. But the wife and the daughter are very aggressive, and they're very vocal, and they make the guys that have gotten out of their vehicle even more aggressive, and it ends up the girls both get kidnapped, and Tony's character is in his... No, he ends up in the other guy's car, because the bad guys drive away in his car.
Something that kind of might put some context
sorry.
On this. At first, they rear end the car, and so the hooligans are claiming, "Hey, you need to pull over. We've had an accident. We've got to pull over." Is kind of their excuse for harassing them. And so what the excuse they use is, well, we'll put your girls in our car and we'll go drive your car with your wife and kid, and then you'll drive our car so that we know you don't just drive off and leave us in the dust and, with insurance damage, is the excuse. Like, it's obviously
it's completely
BS.
a lie, yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously BS, but,
And then, of course, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Tony's saying, no, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
And it eventually, it made me so angry. The mom and the daughter at this point have been pushed around and almost attacked more than once. And the mom puts the daughter in the car, and she puts herself in the passenger seat. And Tony is out of the car and has a broken nose at this point, I think. Mm-hmm. Or at least if it's not broken, it's definitely a bloody nose.
Yeah.
And that's when the guys get in the car.
Yeah.
And so one of the bad guys gets in the driver's seat and drives off. And I immediately turned to David and I was like, if I were the mom, I would have gotten in the driver's seat. I don't give a crap where Tony wants to sit in the car, but I'm in the driver's seat because that is exactly what I assumed would happen, is one of those guys would get into the driver's seat and drive off the car. They already talked about doing that. Mm-hmm. And she was still stupid enough to get in the passenger seat.
Yeah, there's some reasons for all this.
Oh yeah, no, it's a book in the story, so like it's already not real. Yeah. In a not real world. It made me angry. I'm still angry.
Yep. Long story short, obviously none of this ends well. He survives this encounter because one of the guys lets him out of his car, like in the middle of nowhere, like they're abandoning him. Then they come back to get him later as if they've changed their mind, basically.
And he's hiding.
And the guy explains that, like, well, he's never killed anyone yet that I know of. So he's, like, implying that, like, well, to our knowledge, he's never killed anybody, but, like, obviously bad stuff's about to happen. He gets dumped out in the middle of nowhere. They come back to look for him. He hides. And then he goes to see the police later, and lo and behold, they find his wife and daughter dead after having, of course, been raped. It's really brutal.
Yeah, it's...
You don't see any of it, but... Exactly. But, yeah, it's horrible. The rest of the story is kind of going through, like, him trying to get revenge and find the people who did this. Not in, like, a revenge movie way, but, like, working with the cops.
The cop was my favorite character.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but yeah. And then... with the real-life wife, Susan, reliving her memories of being with Edward, who, of course, is also played by Jake Gyllenhaal, because he plays everything, and his life and, like, why their relationship didn't work out. And the big spoiler is that it turns out she loved him at first, but then decided to break up with him by basically cheating on him, and then deciding to abort his child just shortly after or before breaking up with him, and then got caught, like, at the abortion clinic with the other guy. Like, the worst possible scenario. So, it turns out, this book is kind of his feelings, the husband's, Edward's feelings on that whole thing. He lost his wife and his child. It's just they weren't murdered in this case. It was an abortion.
I mean, the baby was.
Let's not go there.
If you want to argue it. He's from Texas, so I feel like...
Go.
No. I'm not saying anything about my feelings. I'm saying from his point of view, he feels like she murdered their baby, and then she broke up with him, so she essentially murdered herself out of his life.
Yes. So either way... And the whole thing's been kind of an allegory about him getting revenge on her, because this entire time he's been kind of barely talking with her through email, because she's been, like, hesitating if she wants to even send the email, because she knows she's probably going to cheat on her husband if she goes. And so she finally decides that, she's going to go rekindle this, and she's, like, takes off her wedding ring and wears a super sexy dress and is going to meet at this place.
Okay, but this whole movie, she has been wearing very dark, heavy makeup and very dark clothing. And when she's preparing to go on this date with him, she wears this bright green dress, and she wears very natural, beautiful makeup. Like, she looks so freaking gorgeous. I love Amy Adams! And, so she just looks completely different from how she's been in this movie, other than in flashbacks.
Yeah.
And so you're like, she's going for him. She's going to be happy again. They're going to be happy together. She goes to the restaurant. She sits there. And she drinks, like, what, a scotch?
Or whiskey, yeah.
Or whiskey or something. And then she orders a second one. And, like, you see time going by because other patrons are leaving and coming in. And then eventually it goes to her face, and, the realization dawns on her that he is not going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends.
Yeah, because at the end of his book, the story is that they catch 2 of the guys, and one of them dies after he accidentally lets him go. It's a whole other story.
Well, there's 3 guys. 3 guys attack them.
3 guys.
One is shot in a robbery, and the other one gets away, and the third one was not involved in it that we know of.
Well, no, it's that those 2 were... Doesn't matter what the numbers are, but yeah, there's 3 guys that matter. And at the end, they have 2 of the guys who did this in a barn because they're not going to be able to seek justice through the court system because the DA won't prosecute. And we find out that the cop who's been helping him has lung cancer and is dead.
And
so
it's
he's
metastasized.
Yeah, he's a goner. So he's like, hey, we're going to take him up to my barn and we're going to get rid of him. Or my camp, and we're going to get rid of him. So he's got a nice little thing way out in there. He gives Tony the chance to shoot them, but then gets sick because he's got cancer and he's nauseous. And the 2 guys run, and Tony doesn't pull the trigger. So the cop takes the gun and shoots one of them, not the main guy, but the other guy, in the back and then in the head. And Tony finally breaks down about how he doesn't care that he shot the guy. He doesn't care that this was a murder. He just hates that he didn't stop this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he takes a gun, and he happens to find the final guy, has a confrontation with him, and when the guy goes to hit him with a fire poker, shoots him in the chest twice. So he kills the guy. So the whole point is he finally got his revenge and basically died in the process. It's a little more convoluted than that, but it doesn't matter. And lo and behold, I feel like the big point of the movie is that, she thinks he'll still somehow love her. When no, the whole point of the book is him explaining how hurt he was that he can finally get his revenge by leading her on and letting her hope that she can get out of this loveless marriage and get back the one true love she ever has, and then just waste her by not showing up. And in my opinion, I think he kills himself, but that's debatable.
I also got that feeling, just because it was he was clearly so in love with her his whole life, and she just crushed him, heart and soul.
Yeah.
And they kept talking in the movie about how, he wasn't driven to write. And so it's he finally found the drive to write, and it was revenge on her. Once he wrote that, did he have any drive left to do anything else? I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's just our opinion, though. So, if you watch it and you don't get the feeling he killed himself, that's totally fine. That's completely valid. That's just both of us were like, oh, he's dead, right? Yeah, he's dead. There was no way he was going to show up at the restaurant because he killed himself.
Yeah, I actually thought he might. I was worried because, at first I hadn't really gotten it all together, but I was worried he was going to, show up and kill her or something. It was that kind of,
you were super into the, he's a serial killer.
Or, he's gone nuts or he's lost it or something, but no, it's more clever than that, in my opinion. That, yeah, the whole thing's just a nice allegory for, screw you, this is my revenge, you ruined my life, you destroyed me, I trusted you, I loved you, and I've felt broken ever since, so here you go, now you too. Now, and there's all sorts of, tiebacks to, her becoming her mother and things like that really just, they set it up so beautifully, that, such a non-action sells how utterly devastating this whole thing is. So, yeah.
2 more points. There was only one jump scare.
Yeah.
And I screamed. I legitimately screamed. It scared the crap out of me. It was perfect. It was good. Because it was specifically showing what reading this book is doing to Susan's psyche. So, it worked. I thought it was good. And then 2, just before that scene of the jump scare, she and one of her, assistants or, co-workers at the art gallery are walking around. And she sees this big painting in front of her. And it's 3 lines. It's 1 word. So the first 2 letters at the top are R-E. And then the next 2 are V-E-N. And then the bottom one is G-E. And I don't know about you guys, but, my brain doesn't always work that way. So I went, revengey. Or no, revengey. How did I say it? What did I say?
Revenge. Or G.
That's what I said. And I was like, oh, revenge! And David laughed at me for a solid minute, you guys.
It was too perfect. It's the sign says revenge, and she's like, re-ven-G. Revenge!
It just made me think of Finding Nemo, where it's escape. Oh, it's just escape. Maybe it's in French or something, whatever it was. Or, A Christmas Story, where it's Oh, fragile. Must be French. Like, I was so embarrassed. But now everyone knows.
Yes, the entire world knows. Your channel has...
Okay, it's not that popular, but...
It is now
They
enshrined.
could watch it. Like, it's forever here. Alright. I have nothing else to say. Do you have anything else you would like to include?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I believe in you guys.
And that is the end of 4 Heavenly Beasts Day 30. I got 3 hours and 54 minutes of footage. I'm tired. But I finished a bunch of colors. He's just off camera. If I were to just take something and smack him, you wouldn't see. But no, actually, it looks like I got a lot done. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of blue. And I love blue. Very happy about the dragon. I'm very, very happy about the dragon. I know. Liz, dragons? Psh. Yeah. I pulled up the pattern for the first time in what feels like forever. And not just the pattern itself, like the full pattern. I zoomed out. He thinks he's funny, but the only person that probably got that was his mom.
And you.
What?
And you.
Well, yes, but this is not for me right now. This is for the viewers. But also for me, because, you know.
Yeah.
So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4 full pages out of 5, 10, 15. There are 15 full pages. 3, like, 7/8 pages. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teeny tiny pages. Yes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. So it's basically 18 pages. I need to remember that going forward because I always tell people like 24, I think, 25, 18. Because for the bottom strips at the bottom, I mean, literally, like, if a full page is this big on the pattern, it's this big on the bottom ones, so that's nothing. Whenever I do the final pages, I'm just going to do the big one and the little one underneath it at the same time. I did the same with the Pokemon cross stitch. I think it was the strips at the edge were the really small ones, though, not at the bottom. Yeah. I'm tired. He has popcorn. It smells really good, so. You're just eating the kernels now, aren't you?
I mean, I'm not quite there, but there's not really left. Do you want popcorn?
Not anymore. You're just gonna eat the kernels, and it's gonna be really loud, and it's gonna just sound terrible. Just because you have teeth that are strong enough to eat other teeth doesn't mean you should do that.
Point.
Anyways, I'm going to sign off. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys next video.